Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April, and this week I challenged myself to try and recreate the Celine dress by Hedi Slimane that Brie Larson wore on the Oscars red carpet. There are some long, beautiful cape sleeves, a plunging neckline, a high slit, and a low back. This is just my take on how to create this dress. By no means am I saying this is actually how the dress was made. It definitely can't compare to the original and all the work that was put into it, but I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get started. So Brie Larson's dress actually has Swarovski crystals embellished all over it, but I'm just gonna use this striped sequin fabric I found in the fabric district. The sequin fabric is sewn on mesh and it's stretchy and see-through, so I decided to line it with this nude spandex. Using some leftover spandex fabric, I draped the bodice across my dress form, pulling and stretching it to lay flat so I won't need to add any darts. For the skirt, I also stretched the fabric to hug the hips and created a slit on the right side of the leg, so the front will have two pieces with a seam down the right princess seam. And the back will also have two pieces. Here are all my bodice pieces. We have a back neckband, one front bodice, and one back bodice. I'll be cutting out two front bodices, two back bodices, and one neckband from the sequin fabric. I'm placing the front bodice pieces so the sequin lines are slightly angled towards the center. And I cut each piece one layer at a time instead of on fold to make sure that the lines are matched up. For the back pieces, I made sure the lines are going straight down. And for the neckband, I want the sequin lines to run horizontally and I cut it out on fold. These are all the bodice pieces, and you'll want to cut the same pieces out of the spandex lining. Moving on to the skirt, I have two front skirt pieces and we'll cut one of each piece out, and one back pattern piece that will need two pieces cut out. On the sequin fabric, I do my best to make the lines go vertically down the dress. Now that all our pieces are cut, we can assemble the dress starting with the bodice. First, face the two front pieces right sides together and sew down the center front. Next, sew the back pieces to the front bodice at the side seams. And lastly, sew the neckband on top. To assemble the skirt, I first sew the two front pieces together at the slit. Decide how high you want yours to be and sew down to that point. Then sew the two back pieces at the side seams. Repeat the same steps to the lining layer. Now we can attach the bodice to the skirt at the waist, and since the middle has an upwards point, I will start sewing from the middle to the side and then go back to the middle and sew the other side. For this whole dress, I'm sewing with a ballpoint needle and with a stretch stitch since the fabric is stretchy. Next, face the two dress layers right sides together and sew along the neckline all the way around until you get back to the middle point. Afterwards, make sure to understitch the lining down so it doesn't stick out. Then to close up the outside edge, face one side of the dress right sides together, sandwiching the other half inside. And sew as far up to the neckband as you can. There should be an opening in the middle of the neckband that is left unsewn. Pull the bodice right sides out and repeat the same thing to the other side of the dress. Turn the dress right sides out again, and you should now have all the edges of your bodice finished and can hand sew the rest of the neckband closed. To create the fabulous long cape sleeves, I draped my fabric over my dress form and created a dart rounding out the shoulders. The shape of the sleeves will be an A-line shape, so I made sure I didn't add too much flare at the bottom, which would make it more of a half circle shape and would also require a lot more fabric to cut out. When marking it, I kind of just pay attention to how the fabric is draping and follow the natural line that is going down. This is what my sleeve piece looks like now, and I can use it to cut out two pieces from the sequin fabric. Unfortunately, the sequin fabric is too short for the length I need it to be at, and I don't want to turn it the other way or else the stripes are going to be going horizontal. So I just left the top short and will just attach more fabric to the top afterwards. Here are my two sleeve pieces, and now I just face the leftover fabric right sides together on top and sew them together. Then you can lay the full piece back on top and cut out the rest of the sleeve. You should have two lining sleeves and two sequin sleeves. Cut the shape of the dart out, including the seam allowance, and make sure to mark which side is the front and back because it's going to end up looking the same. Then sew each dart closed on all four pieces. Next, face one lining and one sequin sleeve right sides together and sew along the two sides, leaving the bottom open. I recommend hand sewing it together first because both these fabrics move around a lot, so one side might end up with more fabric left over. Once the sleeves are sewn and you understitch the lining down, line up the shoulder seam of the sleeves to the shoulder seam of the neckband and hand sew the sleeves in place. At first, I was just going to hand sew the sleeves, but decided to top stitch them down to really secure them in place because the fabric is really heavy. Next, I installed the invisible zipper and closed up the rest of the skirt. Now that I can fully try the dress on, I had Eric mark the bottom for me to get a more accurate measurement and then evenly trim the bottom of the skirt and sleeves. Lastly, hem all the raw edges along the bottom. And I'm finished. Here is the final gown.
I think you're better without me. Know for a fact that you're happy now. Hate that I treated you badly. Not much to do except apologize. No, I don't want you back, not at all. I just wanted to give you a call. I regret what I said at the mall. No, I don't even miss you a bit. You and I didn't work, didn't fit. And I think you were right, I admit. I do. I hope you hear me through. No, I was bad for you. So I gotta tell the truth.
So the stripes on Brie Larson's dress are a lot more thick and spaced out. So with this fabric I found, I thought I could seam rip every 2 rows, but in the end I decided not to because it was just going to be too much work. So this is my final creation. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more DIY fashion, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!